Hello, and welcome to Self-Care is Sexy. My name is Chris, and I'll be your host. We're a podcast that's here to generate and share self-care ideas with each other. Last episode, I brought you some really great gift ideas for self-care and some holiday travel tips. If you're headed out to see the families this weekend and getting ready to go home, please be safe and make sure to get as much self-care in as you can before, during, and even after your visits. Want to give you a quick preview of what to expect from today's show. So today, I'm going to be talking about self-care solitude. We're going to go over why it's so important to do some of that self-care all alone and how you can actually get that time to yourself. As well as I want to talk about the dirty little secret that the self-help and therapy world doesn't want you to know, and how knowing this secret is going to save you so much time and money and really help you not only get the self-care you need, but actually turbo boost your self-love and confidence to help you really achieve anything you want to this year without having to buy a bunch of crap or change what you're already doing. But first, a few quick housekeeping notes. Hello, my friends. I hope that you're doing well and you're getting ready for all the festivities this weekend, making sure to take really good care of yourself in the process. Before I get started today with my topic on self-care solitude, I just want to check in. We've had a lot of brand new listeners subscribe to the show over the last few months, and I just kind of want to say hello and let you know, if you're new, what you've got yourself into. So my name is Chris, and this show is coming to you from Portland, Oregon, here on the West Coast. This podcast actually started out as a private Facebook group where a bunch of friends just were posting about what we're doing for self-care and what was working and what wasn't. And one of the members was in design school and was doing their senior project. And they asked for my help trying to come up with something creative. And at the time, I had kind of already been thinking about doing a podcast. Originally, I was going to create something around tarot card readings and spiritual stuff. But then my friend approached me and showed me all this incredible, amazing design work she had done with the phrase self-care is sexy. Voila, it was born. Now, 3 years later, I talk about self-care, what I've learned. Previously, we had interviewed some amazing folks about what they do for self-care. I'm actually really happy to announce that this next year, we already have some amazing guests lined up. So if you are just sick of hearing my voice all along this past year, the wait is over. We've actually got some fresh guests coming in to talk all about their self-care and their amazing different perspectives. So welcome to the show, no matter how you found me. Maybe we know each other, or maybe you were just searching the podcast, looking for something to listen to. However you found me, I do believe that today's episode, it was designed for you. This message is coming to you for a reason, and I want that message to be that above all, no matter what, you are worthy of your own time. You deserve your own love and kindness and support. And, I know that self-care is not actually really natural for a lot of people, that there's a lot of us out there, including probably you, that have to make effort, to purposely love ourselves. It doesn't have to be an overhaul, complete 180 of everything you're doing right now. I'm not asking you to buy a bunch of stuff or fill out a 365-day journal about self-care or go on some conference or anything really wild or crazy with this show. And what we're trying to do is just remind you that you can do self-care and that you can make that self-care really impactful to your life without having to change everything or do some radical juice cleanse. That just by working on your mind and your internal dialogue with yourself, you can make some huge changes. Because I'm gonna actually just tell you this dirty little secret that I talked about before, that the self-care, the self-help, the therapy world in general does not want you to figure out. Because if you do, they might go out of business, right? But the truth is, what they don't want you to know is that it does not take much. It really doesn't. Right now, if you're struggling and you have a poor relationship with yourself, or you have this really bad image, like really inside, you think you're just like a piece of crap, or you can't get your shit together, or maybe since you were like little, you were told that you're worthless, and that's just like stuck with you this entire time, and you just cannot seem to shake it. Well, no matter how confident or amazing you might appear on the outside, inside, you might be struggling and fighting against yourself with all these like negative ideas about yourself. And this big secret is that the voice inside you, the internal monologue that's telling you that you're this giant piece of shit, it never actually turns off. It never stops. And I'm sorry to be the one to have to tell you that if you didn't already understand that. But the fasting and the self-care tips that I hand out, it's never going to actually shut that voice off. It's there. It lives there. It's been there for a long while. And the only thing that you can do is add to it. You can add to it. You can learn over time to turn the volume down on that negative internal monologue, but it never actually goes away. So instead of trying to like overhaul your life to make those bad thoughts about yourself and that feeling like you're a piece of shit no matter what you do to make that go away, let's work on adding to that negative narrative and see if we can just dole it out long enough to let that positive new mindset take over. Let that new voice be louder. And again, this does not require some mega overhaul or anything out there. We're going to get to the start of the year where every podcast you listen to is going to be talking about a new way to change everything. And there's going to be all of this messaging from the diet culture and the diet industry to radically do something you've never done before and clean out all your closets and, Marie Kondo your life and radically change everything to get to a place where you feel better and you feel happier and you feel confident and good about yourself every day, no matter what's happening. And that is a fucking lie. It's a lie. Don't buy it. I'm here to advocate on behalf of the actual truth. I'll save you the time from going through all the juice cleanses and the cleaning out of your closet and the defriending people on Facebook and trying to change everything that you're currently doing. I'll save you the time and effort. I've already been through all of that. And I'll tell you, it doesn't work. It doesn't give you the results you want, which is feeling better about yourself and being able to love yourself and build that relationship and have that confidence and know no matter what's going on that you have your own back. And for my listeners out there that, I know they don't have time for a new routine or new therapy or anything like that. But surprise, you can really add that positive voice and you can change all of this without doing very much in your life. So for example, did you shower today? I'm guessing 50% chance, right? Maybe you made it to the shower today, maybe you didn't. Well, that is absolutely an act of self-care. And before you roll your eyes and you're like, well, that's not very profound. I do that every day. It's not really self-care. It's a chore. It's routine to you. Well, taking a shower absolutely is self-care. And how it can become self-care that changes your life is that you can add in the practice with that positive new internal voice. You can start by, as you're washing your body, thanking your body for still working after all the shit you've put it through. You can say sorry to the fat on your tummy or your underarms for how you've been putting it down every time you see it in the mirror or pictures or whatever. And instead, love your body for being there and really start to connect with it. And it's just these little tiny acts like this that don't cost money. They don't require a 3-day conference in the woods or hours of therapy. But this small little stuff works. It's subtle, but it works. Okay, how about water? Have you drank any water at all today? At all? If not right now, if it's safe to do so, before you do anything else, I want you to take a sip of water. And before you do, I want you to speak a little blessing into the water. Say something like, thank you, amazing hydrating water. Come into my body and clean out all the toxins. Or you could say, I love you, body. That's why I'm drinking water for you, for all that you do for me. Anything that you want to add that's self-love talk every single time you take a sip of water or you drink water. And There are millions of opportunities in your everyday life that you can do this kind of stuff, because self-care starts with learning about how to love yourself, how to take care of yourself. And a lot of us don't need, to take long baths or do massages or get our nails done or anything like that. What we really need to do is start amplifying that positive voice so that it will begin to drown out that repetitive, negative asshole drill sergeant in our heads telling us on the daily how we failed, we've not met the mark, we're not good enough. This is so key. Once you start to understand and learn that you're not going to shut off the negative voice, you're never going to turn it off. You're just going to have to learn how to live with it, work with it, and create something else that's louder. Even after you've practiced self-care diligently, all the tips and tricks that I give you on this show, you do them, you're journaling, you're working through this stuff. No matter what you do, you will still have moments in life where something comes up and your immediate thoughts are going to be what a piece of shit you are and how much you suck and how you have failed. And instead of banging your head against the wall and trying a new way to make that go away, if you just work on the small, tiny little additions of this hippie woo-woo positive self-talk stuff, it really works. It really works, and it works better, and it's longer lasting than a horrible fucking celery juice cleanse or cleaning out your closet and donating everything that doesn't bring you joy. Talking to yourself in a positive way or saying loving affirmations to yourself is more powerful than any of that other shit. And I promise you, please take it from somebody who is, if you're listening to the show, you know me. I'm down to earth. I'm telling you like it is. I'm not trying to sell you nothing. I'm just talking to you about self-care. And when you make self-care kind of your business, you begin to see patterns. You see what works, what doesn't. And it all comes down to getting creative with how you can insert really positive talk to yourself on a daily basis. I truly believe the power of the positive thinking, the power of the positive self-talk. I've watched it change my life and create miracles, and I want that for you too. All right, today's topic is about self-care solitude. And we're going to go through 6 different points about self-care solitude, and then I'm going to talk about how you're going to be able to get some of that solitude. The how is pretty easy. That'll just take a few minutes. I'll rattle right through it. But the points that I want to hit today are really going to talk about what's good about solitude. Because I think a lot of us, shy away from the solitude, especially in our go, go, go lifestyles of being overstimulated and just on fire all the time. A lot of people think of solitude as this negative thing, or maybe the cue for depression to kick in, or they look at it as something to be avoided at all costs. The first factor about self-care solitude that I want to talk about is that darkness is not bad. Right now, we are in the darkest period of the year, at least in the northern hemisphere. We're up here, in the upper north corner of the world. And so it's dark at like 4 p.m., right? And it doesn't even start to get semi-light out until 7 a.m. So we're in this really dark period of winter. And that can be super depressing for a lot of people. But the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to self-care and solitude is that darkness is not a bad thing. Metaphorically speaking and literally speaking. Metaphorically speaking, I'm sure you've heard the key buzzwords all over, social media, TikTok, therapy, whatever, about shadow work, about working with your demons, about calling them out, about looking them in the face, giving them their day in court, and thanking them for whatever they have to teach you. So that is a very powerful practice. And darkness is not a bad thing in a literal way. Like I said, it gives your body and it cues your mind to accept inactivity and to accept kind of retreating, which is extremely important for recharging your body, your mind, your spirit. The second factor I want to talk about self-care solitude, that alone time equals focus. When you have the time to just sit with yourself, to just be with yourself, and you're not purposely distracting with like TV, scrolling or whatever, you're really able to focus on what's going on with you. And for a lot of us, that's extremely uncomfortable. There's entire industries built around keeping you from being bored or being alone. But the benefits of alone self-care time is that you really get this focus on what's important to you. What are your priorities? This is